Your mind is powerful, but it might be using that power against you. If you've ever felt like your goals are slipping away from you no matter how hard you're trying, it might not be the effort that's lacking, but the belief underneath it. And in this video, I'm going to help you reset that belief, build the mindset that actually matters, and help you finally have true winning confidence that translates into your reality. I remember back at home, I was going for my normal walk around the neighborhood, and I happened to see a snake like a little far ahead of me. And immediately I stopped. I was shook. Like I'm thinking, okay, I obviously cannot continue on this walk. I need to go home. And then all of a sudden, the snake flew away. It was a bird that was just standing by a stick. It wasn't a snake. But immediately my mind saw it as a snake, and I got prepared to back off. And there's a reason why I saw it as a snake instead of seeing it as a bird or, with a stick. It's because our brain is naturally designed, but like this is something we've passed down, like evolution. Our brains are designed to see the negative because years, centuries ago, before we had technology and agriculture and cities and all this stuff, back when we were fighting saber-toothed tigers, we had to see things. We had to be more careful. The best way to be careful is to automatically assume the worst. Because imagine, you're a hunter gatherer, right? And you're out here in these trees and you hear a noise. You could say, oh, that's just a squirrel. It's not going to do anything. Or you could think, this is a saber-toothed tiger. I need to get out of here immediately. And before you even try to investigate the scene, you'll leave. And that was good. That helped people survive because if you were able to say, okay, no, it's just a squirrel. I'm gonna keep gathering these whatever I'm getting. And it turns out it is a saber-toothed tiger and you get killed, you can't pack your change along. And so the ones who survived the way, way back in the day, they were the ones who automatically assumed the worst and then removed themselves from the situation, even if it turned out that it wasn't bad. It was the ones who were that cautious that survived. And now, here we are. The survivors, the people who were cautious and had to assume the worst mindset that's been passed down to us. Now, do something with me real quick. Cross your arms, however you want to cross it. If you did that, you'll see it just felt natural to cross it a certain way. That's how natural it is to us to assume the worst and to think negatively. You might be thinking, where are you getting to? We just need to lay the groundwork before we get into how we can change your mindset. I need to be aware that your mindset is programmed to be negative automatically. So you're going to assume the worst. You're going to think of ways to remove yourself from any type of uncomfortable situation. And while we don't have saber-toothed tigers running around here, we do have goals that get us outside of our comfort zone, that scare us and we think negatively about and we run from. It's the same thing. It's just a different concept, but it's the same thing. Now, like I said, it is natural for us to just cross the arms a certain way. Well, can you cross it the other way? You can. Even though it's unnatural, we don't automatically default to it, we can cross our arms a different way. Now, it is default to us, for many of us, to think negatively, to think the worst case scenario, whatever. But we can choose to change how we think and how we assume things. And although it will feel unnatural, it is possible. And so this is all just to lay the framework so that when I give you this advice, you'll actually take it and you'll have an understanding of why this matters, okay? Now, I want to dig a little bit deeper and just dig that knife in a little more. Look around and you start being aware of what society values, and you'll see most of society values not taking responsibility, placing the blame, whining, complaining, hoping things will just turn out, being a negative Nancy, all these things. And we are in a society. And we might not want to be tainted by those values, but it's just like pollution. You don't want to be hurt by pollution, but I mean, how can you stop it? You gotta breathe air, so it's just going to happen to you. And we're in a negative society, a narcissistic society, a society that values hedonism, just endless entertainment and pleasure, consumerism, shop until you drop, and then when you drop, get back up and shop again. in obedience to authority. We listen to teachers, we listen to police, we listen to our lawyers, we listen to anybody who seems to have power. Like, this is what our society values, and we were placed in that society. So not only do we have to fight our evolutionary, our wiring, our genetic wiring, evolutionary wiring. I don't know how to phrase it, but not only do you have to fight our evolution, our genetic, not, I wouldn't say genetic, our evolutionary need. I'm gonna have to figure out how to phrase that right, but you get what I'm saying. We have to fight against our evolutionary need to see the worst case scenario and society we're in that values negative drama, chaos, all that stuff. Like, this is deep. This is deep. So you gotta be very aware of what you're surrounding yourself in. Like I said, we don't want to be hurt by pollution, but because we're around pollution, it's going to hurt us. But imagine if we decide to go to the Netherlands. The pollution is less. I don't know what it is around there, but let's assume the Netherlands don't have any pollution. Imagine we just left and we're there. We feel a lot better. We feel a lot better. Now we can't leave wherever we are to go to the Netherlands, but when it comes to getting away from that negativity that taints us and taints our worldview, we can. We can't get away from it 100%, but there are techniques we can do to be in more of a circle of empowerment. Because imagine if you were around like empowering things. We were in a society that valued taking responsibility and changing your life and having the power to create whatever you want. And that's what we were taught. And we were taught to trust within ourselves and be within instead of looking outside. Imagine how that would influence us. Imagine if we were taught how to think positively and how to be creative and just solve our own problems. We'd be empowered. We would do so much more. But that's not the case because the world wants us to be sheep that we can control. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But now that you understand, let's get into the tools to help you build up your mindset to have a winning one. Instead of automatically assuming things are horrible and the worst, you start to automatically assume things are okay. Everything work out in the end, and you can figure it out, and then you'll figure it out, and things will change for you. This is like a winner's mindset you're about to get. And once you get the winner's mindset, you're going to win. Chances are you just have the average mindset. And it's not your fault that you were given that. We were born into it. I had it. We were all born into it. My job is just to make you more aware of it. So how can you start changing up your mindset and build that winner's mentality? You want to start listening to them. That's it. You want to find some type of empowering self-talk or book you can read that will change how you view the world, that will challenge your mindset. And to make things a little bit easier, I will have some books and some speakers and talk and speakers that I've listened to that really influenced how I see the world, influenced my mindset to give you like a starter. But you do just want to build a habit of listening to something empowering because now you're listening. It's like you're learning a whole new language. You're learning from people who have done great things, high achievers, and you're learning how they talk. And you're gonna know that they talk a lot different than most of the people you've ever been around. Now, don't expect that once you start listening to this stuff, things will change automatically. It's not. Because like I said, you're learning a new language. You're learning how to see the world in a better, more optimistic viewpoint rather than just automatically negative and everything's horrible and you can't take control. No. You learn to see things differently. So this will take time. But if you continue listening to these empowering things, and it's only like, all you gotta do is listen to like 5 minutes. 5 minutes something empowering, read 5 pages a day, and you'll be good. Like that stuff will work. And if you hold up to this, you will notice a difference in how you think, how you feel, and the actions you're taking. And I'll start with how you think. And this is how you start training yourself to think like someone who can. And the beautiful thing is, you can turn on these seminars, these talks, these empowering things, and not even have to fully listen to it, pay attention to it, because subconsciously you are. So you can do this when you're taking a shower, driving to work, cooking. Just find a way to naturally fit in your mindset training. This is what this really is. Mindset training. We train our body to get stronger. So why can't we train our minds to get stronger? We can. Now, the next thing we gotta do is be aware of when our mind is being polluted, when we are around negative thinking, negative mindsets, because we need to get away from that as much as possible. And unfortunately, we are in a society where people are just going to be negative all the time. I mean, we can't stop that, but we can get away from that. And there's two ways I would either suggest this. One, you can either redirect it. You can change, like if you're having a conversation with somebody and it's getting negative, you can change the flow of the conversation to something else. And I've done this many times. I remember I was listening to these two people, two of my friends, talking about a situation that had happened yesterday, and they were still complaining, getting riled up about it. And I straight up said, okay, I mean, we can still sit here and complain and have a poop party, or we can move on because the situation has already changed, and then we change the conversation. So it's as simple as that. But if you can't reflect it, they won't take the bait, then just remove yourself or just use silence to show you're not interested. And then eventually they'll just change the subject and then you can re-engage. So there's ways you can get around this, but just be aware that when you're around negativity, get away. If you listen to music and it's just saying like, I suck and everything sucks and my life sucks, like turn it off. If you're watching something that makes you feel bad, and it makes you feel like, oh no, the world's crashing against me, just turn it off, get away from it. Like, why are you feeding yourself things that lower your frequency? It doesn't make sense. And I remember thinking, okay, so I could never listen to anything bad and I'd be positive all the time. I'm not saying that. Think about this. If there's a car crash and you're driving down the highway, you can look at it. That's not going to kill you. You can look at it, but don't stare at it. Because if you're staring at this car crash, you're going to be in the next car crash. Hey, son. Did you come in? He might have heard my cat, but he didn't come in. Like I was saying, you can see the negative and the bad, but just don't stare at it. Because you have somewhere you're going and you need to get refocused on where you're going. Otherwise, you're going to crash too. So this isn't to say that I'm not here to encourage toxic positivity. I've been down that route. That's not cool. But I just want you to be aware of the fact that focusing on the negative is never going to make you feel better. You can look at it, just don't focus on it. Be aware of it, but don't be consumed by it. Now, your mindset means everything, so please do not take this advice lightly. But just listening to empowering things, while that will do a lot, it is not everything for improving your mindset. There are more things that matter. One of the biggest things is getting off of the default mode of living that we all know. You just wake up, get on your phone, then go to work, then come home and sit on the couch, watch TV, eat some food, go to sleep, repeat the cycle, not to again, 2 days off, back to work, 50 years, retire, die. That's pretty much the default path that we all know. Now, why I say taking back control of your mind is more than listening to empowering things, is because being on default mode, what is there? That's torture to people like us. So we have to break out of this default mode and be more intentional about how we approach every single day. Because the people with intention that get what they want because they're intentional about it. The people who don't have intention, they get what they get by default, and the default mode of life sucks. That's why I made the Live by Design course. It'll be the first thing in my description. If you're serious about taking back control of your life and living more intentional, that will be the course for you. Check it out if you're serious. Now, with the helpful mindset, the world will just look more helpful. More doors will open for you. I'm being so serious. Things will just realign when your mindset gets better because you're looking for it. That's why this is so important. But if you don't work on improving your mindset every single day, then you're going to have a weak mindset because you're in a weak society. And if you don't work on yourself in a weak society, then that weak society is going to work on you. And you don't want that. So please take this serious. Work on your mindset. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, you know the rest. And I'll see you for the next one.